Hi, I'm really sorry I have to miss class today, especially given that I was gone on Friday afternoon as well. Right now, I'm having a beautiful 3-hour dental appointment. So enjoy the fact that I am getting a beautiful, beautiful new crown on my molar while you're watching this math video. It seems like maybe you have the good end of the deal. All right, I'm just reminding you that there is not going to be an opportunity to have a note card on the unit test for this unit since it is all review. And we do want to know what you're taking away from the class in your brain, not just in your notes. So I'm just reminding you of that so you know to take things real seriously. Today, the mini lesson is delivered by video. And then what we'll do after the mini lesson is you will try the quizzes for today. And based on those results, we will know if you need to watch the main lesson video or if you can just go ahead and do your homework. Okay? So yesterday we reviewed the idea of order of operations. Today, what I'm pointing out is that when we solve equations, we actually are reversing that order of operations to isolate the variable. So as you can see in your notes packet on page 11, what I wrote to you is that you can think of simplifying numeric expressions as a situation where the unknown or the variable is already isolated. So when I try to do this problem, the absolute value and squares and subtraction and multiplication, I could just imagine that there was an x over here, like I wrote here. Okay, and since the variable is already alone, that means you just follow the order of operations, right? Just do what you're supposed to do. Now, when the variable is not isolated, then we need to use the technique of solving, which means to isolate that variable on one side of the equals or even on one side of an inequality if you're working with something with a greater than or less than symbol. So in a problem like this, where the variable is within the context of what you have, right, not just by itself, when I have something where the variable is not isolated, we just want to undo our order of operations. So we're going to think about how we usually do parentheses, then exponents, then multiplying and dividing, then adding and subtracting, and we're going to go backwards, right? So we're going to start with here, undo adding and subtracting, then undo multiplying and dividing, then undo exponents. In particular, you undo squaring by square rooting, and then undo any parentheses, okay? And then within the parentheses, you might have to repeat these steps because that's like a little problem inside of a problem sometimes. Here's an example of what I mean. It's the exact problem I had on the previous slide, by the way, okay? So let's say I wanted to solve this. Well, I'm going to think first, do I need to undo any adding and subtracting? Well, this 5 is connected as it's like 5 minus blah, blah, blah. It is a positive 5, so I can undo that 5 that's connected with addition or subtraction, depending on how you perceive it. Okay, so it's a positive 5 there. And I would subtract that from both sides of the equation. Here's the equal sign. So I shouldn't have two, like every now and then I'll see someone who does this. Let me show you. Little mistake. Tries to do something like that. Okay, you're subtracting 5 twice on the left side of the equals and once on the right, and not at all on the right side. That's not subtracting from both sides, okay? So subtract from the left side of the equation, subtract from the right side of the equation. This makes a 0. Everything else follows. Negative 3, x squared minus 2, equal sign, and then 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So we undid some adding and subtracting. You might wonder, why are we not addressing this subtraction? Well, that's because that subtraction is inside of a parentheses. So when we get to undoing parentheses, that's when we'll address that. Okay? Now we're going to undo any multiplying and dividing. And that negative 3 is attached with multiplication, so I'm going to undo it with dividing. Okay? So this part makes a 1. So I just have 1 times x squared minus 2, which is x squared minus 2. Equals, and then negative 3 over negative 3 is 1. Now I'm down to the part that was in the parentheses. And so within these parentheses, I want to go back through my list. Undo adding and subtracting. Undo that by adding 2. and I have x squared equals 3. Undo any multiplication and division. I don't have any. Undo any exponents. Oh, I've got that. Square roots. Undo squares. So I've got x. When I square root a variable squared, the other side gets a plus and a minus. And so my two solutions are that x could equal negative root 3 or x could equal positive root 3. Those numbers are about 1.7-ish on the positive side of 0 and negative 1.7-ish on the negative side of 0. Two different solutions. Okay, that was my little reminder. So what I want you to do now is to have the part of your notes open that gives you some space to do the quizzes right there around page 11. And there's going to be 10 problems. If you earn 7 or fewer points out of this 10, then you need to be in group 1. In group 1, what you'll do after the quizzes is go to the video that is linked on Schoology after this one. And it's solving, being the reverse order of operations, and you're going to take notes. Before you leave the classroom, you need to show our guest teacher your notes. Tell them your name and show them your notes so they can check it in, okay? That has to happen before you leave. And then you have the homework assignment that is listed for today. As per usual, after you're done, check your answers and upload. If you earn 8, 9, or 10 on the quizzes, then you're going to just show that result to the guest teacher and then go ahead and do your homework. So I'll remind you of the assignment right here. Pages 13 and 14 is the written assignment. You may or may not have a video to watch besides this one before you do that. Okay, so this is finishing this intro video. We're going to do the quizzes. The quizzes score will determine if you are watching a second video or if you're just going on to the homework directly. Okay, thank you so much.